What's going on, you guys? It's Nick Johnson, your favorite sports YouTube journalist here, back with another video. And I'm going to give you a quick recap. As a matter of fact, give you all the highlights going on in the world of sports. Starting with last night's Game 5 of the World Series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And before I jump into that, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to hit that bell com button where you get my notification where I upload my videos in the upcoming future. And let's get into it. Last night was Game 5 of the World Series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Behind the gutsy effort from Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers was able to propel to a 4-2 victory and have a 3-2 series lead in which they will finally end their long, miserable World Series championship drought tomorrow night in Game 6, in which they're going to turn to Tony Gonsolin on the mound to counter Blake Snell. So from the strategy the Dodgers are going to go, they're going to go with a bullpen game tomorrow, man. Barring like any, let's just say, any future doubt, they're going to, if this goes to a Game 7, which is going to be on Wednesday, then they're going to turn Walker Buehler to the mound to close things out against Charlie Morton. So the last time that happened, Blake Snell was sharp to begin Game 2, but he didn't finish up and get that quality start. But the Dodgers have a chance to close things out tomorrow. Even with the bullpen game is kind of a little stagnant, a little underwhelming, it might have a better chances to do so. Of course, Corey Seager was riding a hot hand, as he always been all postseason long in the NLCS against Atlanta, and in this series alone, contributed with a 2-run RBI single and an insurance run from Max Muncy in the bottom of the 5th inning gave them all the insurance that they needed to propel to a 4-2 win. Like I said, Clayton Kershaw was really gutsy in this one, going 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs on 5 hits and 2 walks, but he also made 6 strikeouts. So, better effort. And it's been a better postseason for him overall. He's had an ERA of 2.90 with a postseason record of 4-1, a new career high of 4 wins in a single postseason. So it is much well deserved and a hard work effort. So I'm not gonna jump the gun and say that he finally shed his postseason demons. I'm not gonna say that, but I will say this is a much better postseason compared to the ones in his past. So. Much needed, much well-deserved, and well-earned win. And with that, the offense, if they just continue to roll, and if the bullpen can finally have a legit solid game throughout, then the Dodgers will have a chance to win this one tomorrow night, where they will be the home team for these final 2 games. So, yeah, that's all I have for that one. Now, we're going to go to the usual NFL scores. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Tennessee Titans 27-24 despite Ben Roethlisberger throwing 3 picks in that game. The Steelers' defense and offense was resilient throughout the entire game, preventing Ryan Tannehill from making any sort of comeback in the late drive. So, Pittsburgh remains undefeated to go 6-0 and have handed Tennessee their first loss of the season. So, this was a battle of the undefeateds. So, Pittsburgh wins it, and they remain 6-0, while Tennessee falls to 5-1. The Washington football team demolished the Dallas Cowboys in their second game without Dak Prescott, and Andy Dalton took over. The Washington team blew out the Cowboys 25-3, in which John Bostic, the Washington linebacker, viciously collided with Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton. Yes, the same Andy Dalton who was a former Pro Bowl and All-Pro quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day. Yeah, that one. It delivered a vicious hit to the helmet on Andy Dalton, in which he had to be carted off and taken into the locker room, so he couldn't finish the rest of that game. So Kyle Lauletta had to finish the rest of the way. So it was just an all-around dominant performance from Washington, with a 100-yard performance and a touchdown from Antonio Gibson, and a strong and collaborative effort from Kyle Allen. From Kyle Allen and the rest of his receiving core. So big win for Washington in getting their second win of the season. The Buffalo Bills and somehow, in what was many supposed to be a blowout, managed to come back and hang on to beat the New York Jets 18-10. In a game in which I got word before the game, or like during the game, is when I got word that Adam Gase, the Jets head coach, has given up play calling duties and handed his play calling duties to his coordinators, especially on offense. So, because the offense has been absolutely garbage. You know what I'm saying? Even with Sam Darnold back, it still hasn't been good. Let's say that much. But the defense for Buffalo did its thing and helped Buffalo's offense get out of the schneid. But still, many people thought it was a blowout, but it wasn't. So, Buffalo wins by 8 points and stay on top of the AFC East. The New Orleans Saints had a high-scoring affair with the Carolina Panthers to beat them 27-24 in yet another game without Michael Thomas, who was fully healthy last week, coming off a high ankle sprain, but then got suspended for the game against the Chargers for getting into it with his teammates and his coaches. Was then out for yesterday's game due to suffering a hamstring injury during practice. So it's not a really good look for Michael Thomas whatsoever, coming off a year where he had a dynamite year, over 1,400 yards receiving, or 1,600, 145 catches, an NFL record for most in a single season, and 19 touchdowns. A breakout year for him, and a legendary year for him, but it just wasn't. It's not a really good start for him, and it's been miserable as we all know it. But the Saints, they've been trucking along without his services, with great performance from Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees. Managed to overcome Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers 27-24, so big win for the Saints. The Green Bay Packers made a statement win over the Houston Texans 35-20. Of course, this is another game in which Romeo Crennel has to take over head coaching duties for the Texans, since they fired Bill O'Brien from his head coaching and general manager duties as a result. And the Packers, this was a much-needed win after getting embarrassed last week at the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in which Rodgers threw no touchdown passes, threw for under 200 yards, and threw 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick six. He came back with a dynamite performance. 3 touchdown passes, almost 300 yards passing, and Devontae Adams had a monster game with 13 catches for 197 yards. That's like almost 200 yards receiving, and a pair of touchdowns himself. Rather, 3. So he had a dynamite performance. Of course, this game without the services of Aaron Jones, who had to sit out this game due to a knee injury. So, but status is he should be able to be back next week for their upcoming trip. The Cleveland Browns, despite a horrible start from Baker Mayfield in which he was 0 for 5 and threw an interception, he cleaned up his act and was monstrous in the second half to outduel Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals, especially on the last touchdown drive to Demarius Peoples-Jones for the game-winning touchdown to help Cleveland win 37-34. Finished with almost 300 yards passing with 4 touchdowns and an interception. So, better bounce-back performance in the second half for Baker Mayfield to outduel Joe Burrow and company. And of course, unfortunately, this has come at the cost of their best wideout, Odell Beckham Jr., during the interception return from the Cincinnati Bengals defense. He was trying to make a tackle, but then got upended as a result. Which unfortunately we found out this morning that Odell Beckham has now suffered a torn ACL. So Odell Beckham Jr. is now out for the year, torn ACL, and it's going to be a big blow to the Browns offense trying to go forward and make some noise in the AFC North Division. And of course, you'll have competition with Baltimore and Pittsburgh leading the way as a result. So it's a big loss for Cleveland. The Detroit Lions pull off a shocker, a very late touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford to young tight end TJ Hawkinson for the win. And of course, Matt Prater with the winning extra point to prevail over the Atlanta Falcons 23-22. And what looked like on the Falcons' last touchdown drive, running back Todd Gurley was trying to stop at the goal line to milk the clock out, but instead he fumbled into the end zone for a touchdown, giving Detroit a minute and 4 seconds left to drive down the field for a game-winning score. So Detroit wins that one by 1 point, 23-22. and Atlanta has dropped to 1-6 as a result. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, behind another masterful game from future Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady in his first year with his new club, dismantled the Las Vegas Raiders 45-20. Tom Brady had over 300 yards passing with 4 touchdown passes. And with that being said, he has now passed Drew Brees for the all-time touchdown passing mark. So congratulations to him on a historic career and a landmark this has been. And they're going to continue piling up on a team that looks to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So am I sold that they're going to make it? No. But they are a legitimate threat, as we all know it. So big win for Tampa, and an embarrassing defeat for the Raiders is trying to make themselves some noise as a result. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Los Angeles Chargers, as the Chargers were able to come back and rather dominate the way against Jacksonville, 39-29. Another great performance from Justin Herbert to finally get his first win of the season as a member of the Chargers. The San Francisco 49ers came into Foxborough and dominated the New England Patriots 33-6, in what has been known as the worst home defeat for the Patriots in the Belichick era. And with that, as a result, the Patriots have dropped to 2-4, while the Niners have improved to was it 3-3 or 4-3 as a result, trying to climb back into the NFC West division race as the reigning NFC champions. So, and of course, for Cam Newton, his starting quarterback job with the Patriots is kind of up in the air with the fact that he had a horrible performance. No touchdown passes, only 98 yards passing, and 3 different interceptions. And the offense only managed 2 field goals as a result. So, it's not looking good if you're Cam Newton, really. The Kansas City Chiefs went into the Mile City in Denver, Colorado, and blew out the Broncos 43-16 on the strength of their magnificent defense, despite the offense led by Patrick Mahomes being really stagnant throughout this entire game. So apparently the Broncos defense had found a way to contain the likes of Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill for most of the game and get some pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Hence the reason why the Chiefs offense didn't have the performance that they was expecting to have. But the defense was really magnificent. They even scored some points on their own, especially a pick six from Brian Sorensen. So, a real blowout win for Kansas City. So, and of course, you have the Sunday night matchup. The Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks, in which was a high-scoring shootout affair, in which Russell Wilson and Tyreek Hill... in which Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett had a monster game together, in which Russell Wilson, despite throwing 3 interceptions and pretty much costed them the game, was magnificent, finding 3 different touchdown passes to Tyler Lockett, who had 3 of those himself and had over 200 yards receiving. So big monster game for him. But the Cardinals wouldn't be denied. Great performance from Kyler Murray, 3 touchdowns and interception through the air. And another monster game from DeAndre Hopkins was enough for Arizona to come back, drive down the length of the field to tie the game up, to send it to overtime, and to drive down the field again after getting a stop on from their defense, to drive down the field once again and to have Zane Gonzalez kick the game-winning field goal with 20 seconds left to go in the overtime period. So Arizona beats Seattle 37-34, and Arizona is making legitimate noise as we all know it. The acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins and a whole bunch of others and tweaking out their roster, Arizona may be the team to beat. And of course, with this win, they also knocked the Seahawks out of the undefeated ranks themselves. So that means the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm correct, remain the only unbeaten team in the NFL this year. Big statement win. And that pretty much caps out what we have from yesterday's action. And, of course, tonight we have Monday night action between the Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears, supposedly on ESPN or Fox. Make sure to tune into that. It's going to come on at 5:20 Pacific. So Make sure to tune into that and let me know who you got in this one. And of course, going back to baseball, I just found and read an article on The Score just now that in Major League Baseball, with this short pandemic season, they have taken a huge financial losses. They have lost about $3.1 billion in revenue, with the fact that there was like lack of sales and more importantly lack of fans in attendance due to the whole COVID-19 pandemic coming about. So with that being said, they've taken like a huge financial losses. $3.1 billion lost in revenue compared to what should have been like $6.1 billion expected to have this season. So, and of course last year, the revenue that they made was $10.7 billion. I mean, with the exceptions of fans attending the rest of the NLCS between the Dodgers and the Braves, and of course attending this year's World Series, it still doesn't make up the fact that they took a huge financial hit. So we don't know exactly what the future of the MLB will be like in terms of revenue and everything whatnot, especially with this whole COVID-19 pandemic still going on about. But hopefully by next season or the year before or the year after, we'll have a chance to return to normalcy. And I expect the same thing to have with the NFL to see how much they've lost due to the whole pandemic. So, yeah, and that's all I have for today in the world of sports. So, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to hit that bell com button where you get my notifications where I upload videos in the near future. And let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think of this week's NFL action? And what do you think of the Dodgers Game 5 victory last night? What do you think of Kershaw's performance? Do you think he really exercised his postseason demons, or do you think he hasn't proved himself yet? Or Tampa Bay just pretty much missed a golden opportunity to take a stranglehold lead in the series. So, and what do you think? And what do you think will be the outcome will be for tomorrow? Do you think the Dodgers will clinch the World Series for the first time since 1988, or do you think the Rays will have a chance to force a Game 7? So. So I have today, once again, hit the like and subscribe button, hit that bell com button where you get my updates and my videos. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that being said, I'm Nick Johnson, your favorite sports YouTube journalist, and I'm out. Peace.